throwing this ball in inside his 22, and they come down cleanly with that one. They want to move this one away. It's a powerful drive from their forwards. Stafford there, marshalling his troops, is the Glensal Abbey former student, and he launches one up in the air. Very good with that box kick. We saw him late in the game as Jack Kelly takes that one in, the fullback for this Leinster side, and Leinster on the move, try to go wide, and they found some space there. They are through, and that is Jimmy O'Brien. Jimmy O'Brien dishes one out. Could we have an early score here? We will. And it is number 11, Rob Russell, the DUFC player, scores our first try of the game, and Leinster dots down in their first few minutes in America. 5-0 Leinster over Munster here at Union Point Sports Complex.
John, this team is sprinkled with potential players for Ireland. I'm talking to the coaching staff. Here's the replay of that try, though.
Just take a look at this here. It comes into a couple of forwards moving the ball, and great work there by the 10, Connor Kelly. He gets it into O'Brien's hands, and no problem, he finds Rob Russell. Rob Russell, an Irish U20 player, touches it down, and a great try there, just finding that space out wide. Matt, I think you really see just the intent there from this Leinster team. They're going to play wide. They're going to go for it. They got some young players, as you were saying.
Yeah, and
it's going to be exciting.
And they have some Irish sevens players in that back line, including Jimmy O'Brien, who gave that great pass that led to the try. And here's the conversion.
And the conversion is up. We'll see what the assistant referees say. Flags are down. It is not a 7-pointer. It's just 5. Leinster is up over Munster.
Yeah, John, again, you've got what's exciting about this tournament, specifically about this matchup tonight, is you have two of the better provincial teams from Ireland. You have players on the radar that are young. For instance, Leinster's pack, the front three, are all 20 years old and on the radar for Ireland.
That was Ben Healy to get us started, the fly half there. Very talented young player from this Munster squad. As Patterson again launches one high in the air. They're going to use that aerial game. They found touchdown there. It'll be a line out just about 40 meters out from their line.
Yeah, your Tipperary man, Ben Healy, had a good match the other night when we were here.
Absolutely, against the hometown New England Free Jacks, who we'll talk about as the game goes on, the host of this, and it's tipped out by a Munster player, so this is going to be a Leinster lineout. Leinster A putting the ball in through Ronan Kelleher. Kelleher gets it up to Byron, Ruan Byron, and they're going to keep it tight. Are the Leinster forwards, try to open up some space out wide. Patterson looking for a call from referee O'Sullivan, doesn't get it. Moves it to one of his forwards, a little tip pass on there. They're trying to shift this ball maybe just a bit too quick that time. And off they go. Once again, it's Jack Kelly. Jack Kelly slips around a couple. He certainly got the moves right there as a quick ball goes up. O'Brien bashes his way through and then just sends it back. The ball moves out once again to one of the big forwards, Ryan Baird. Patterson again releases, that time Dan Sheehan. Quick pick from one of the forwards, just trying to get things stable here is Ronan Kelleher. As it comes up to Sheehan again, the 20-year-old, little pass out wide. Let's see if they can reproduce their magic here. Great footwork from Russell. Already got one on the board. We're at 5 minutes here into the game. Sure, he'd love another. As the ball comes up to big Vak Abdeladze. And Abdeladze, the Georgian-born prop, puts one down, and the ball gets propped up to Angier and picked off this time. The referee's blown his whistle. And good work there. Munster puts a little pressure on the defense, but Leinster, all the possession so far. Yeah, all the possession so far, and again, it's that Leinster front row that we should be watching. Here's your replay, John. Nice pass inside from Paddy Patterson. And Ainger crashing forward. Ainger really putting the power on there. You see, really just power coming in from this Leinster squad. They're working their way through with their forwards, punching those holds. Backs always at the ready. Just quickly sliding that ball wide. We have a penalty against Munster, so we're going to have a shot at goal here. Looks like the Clontarf man, Con Kelly's going to be. Connor Kelly? Yeah.
as Robert Sullivan. Is it Robert O'Sullivan, our referee, John?
Robert O'Sullivan from Cork is our referee. Over here, going to be doing some work with local referees around the Northeast here. And Connor Kelly puts that one up. That time finds the mark. It is 8-0. Leinster over Munster, 6 minutes into this CARA Cup match.
Yeah, it's right away we can tell that there's speed and there's skill. They're spinning it out wide. These teams, there's no love lost between these provinces, right?
So we have a lot going on here, Matt, that we should talk about. I mean, these players, you know, a lot of them are academy players. A lot of them are on kind of short-term contracts. Some senior players coming back from injury. They all want to work away in that senior squad, so this is big for them. This isn't just a fun trip to the States. This certainly has meaning. Coming down with their ball is not Connor Phillips, is Munster.
I think that's my namesake, James McCarthy, number 14. John, we're going to have to get that one right.
We're going to have to get the numbers right. As this finally on the attack is Munster, and they slide one out the back there, but good defensive pressure doesn't come to hand, but they're going to move this quickly around. And number 11 there, I believe that is the man, Connor Phillips, pops the ball up. And nothing happening there. We'll see what the referee's call is. As some possession there for Munster, and they're showing what they can do, but good pressure from that Leinster defense.
Yeah, that was number 14, Aaron O'Sullivan, the UCD guy, but he's also part of the Grand Slam winner for the U20s for Ireland in the Six Nations. So, again, Ireland, the senior team, the country didn't fare that well in the Six Nations, but they're U20s Grand Slam winners.
Certainly. Great system coming through in the capital, the Leinster, Dublin area. As down on the Leinster line now is a very powerful Munster pack here as the ball comes up from Owen Clark. Clark puts it up, and he's at the back there looking to see if they can drive this one in. Hands coming over. They're going to move this one around there to Phillips. He is not going to be able to get through, and the ball pops up for Keenan Knox, the 19-year-old. He powers his way through. Munster going to keep this tight as I come back the same way, and the ball is in the hands of Sean French. French can't work his way through the blue jerseys. The ball gets moved on to Jack Daly, the Gary Owen number 8.
And they're exchanging blows right here, right? They're going at each other, John.
This is certainly a power game, as it was Patterson looking to disrupt that, but it was a knock-on by Munster there. Good defensive pressure from Leinster. We're going to have a scrum just about 5 meters out for this Leinster side.
You brought up Sean French. We had the pleasure of watching him the other night. He's got rugby in his DNA. His uncle played for Cork Con. His granddad played for the Barbarians and for Munster. So his name might be French, but he's Irish through and through.
He's opposite Gavin Mullen, the Leinster 12 today, also with a father that played for Ireland. Certainly passing through the generations here. We get a good shot of Patterson, Blackrock player, UCD previously. Patterson gamely looking for the call from the referee, but referee O'Sullivan's going to pull this up. Wants a nice steady base here to work from.
You know, there are no slouches in that Munster front row either, just in case the folks at home were wondering if we were just all Leinster here. There are some very talented players up front. Luke Masters moving to loosehead tonight, if I'm not mistaken, after showing his flexibility at tight head the night before the last match.
A little bobble ball comes into the try zone there, and Connor Kelly has to clean it up. They're just outside their zone. Paddy Patterson looking to get a wall built there forward so he can put the ball safely in a touch. Gets it outside the 22. Pretty well quick kick, but Munster on the run right away, and Munster heading straight upfield through Luke Kingston. Kingston hard hit, but they're going to be able to recycle this ball. Stafford, the young scrum half on this trip. Their most seasoned player, played scrum half in their first match against the New England Free Jacks. Now he's in. And an interception there on an attempt for a wide ball. And this is going to be a certain try. This is Jimmy O'Brien from Kildare. Jimmy O'Brien is headed towards the try line, gets under the post. Another 5 points for Leinster. And it is all Leinster in these first 11 minutes.
John, talking to the coaching staff of Leinster prior Jimmy O'Brien, UCD also, but Irish sevens player with that speed. Here's your replay where he's going to pick off the pass and race the length of the field. There it is, reading the play, taking it down the pitch, and nobody is going to catch that sevens player when he's out in the open, except for one of his fellow fullback who also played. Yeah,
but great work there from O'Brien there, the sevens player.
You see that burst
across, no problem. As another pretty easy kick here for Connor. Kelly, he hits it, and we are 15-0. 12 minutes in to this CARA Cup match. And Leinster certainly put the stamp of authority on this competition.
And speed kills, right? You had Munster driving. It looked like they were going to go in with the try. A couple of plays later, other way down the field.
To start it again here is Healy, the Gary Owen, as you said, Tipperary born. Hoist one into this Massachusetts sky. A little chilly tonight, about 45 degrees. A bit windy here in Weymouth, which has been sort of the standard for this. As off go Leinster again, that's Abdeladze. Forwards working their way across the 22 there. You can see that Munster defense calling people out. There were some numbers out wide, but they're going to go to the boot as it's Healy that comes back across. Healy looks to step a couple, doesn't particularly get too far. Munster up to a forward pack there, and Knox, South African-born tight head for this Munster A team. Well, tip pass there. I'm not sure Paddy Kelly even wanted that. Healy just slip one there to Tynan. Tynan in from fullback to outside center for this second game. As the ball goes up to Owen Clark. Clark makes a couple of meters, certainly a powerful runner there. Paddy Kelly this time ready for it, another U20 player. Slide it back around. Keenan Knox. They're working the phases across halfway, but Stafford's going to go to the air with this one. We'll see who comes down with this, and then Munster has come down with that ball. Off they go out through the back. It's Healy. Healy, now they're going to look for some width here or find some spaces. Space does not materialize, and Tynan has to just bring that one in, and a little mistake there.
Yeah, Tynan may be trying to do too much on his own, but he did draw the tacklers in, and there's going to be a blood injury for Leinster, and that's going to be
a try scorer, Jimmy O'Brien.
Yeah.
Just getting attended to on the field here. A penalty against Leinster. We'll see what Munster decide to do here. In their last game against the Free Jacks, they had no intention of going for points. They were looking for the big points. No, not going for kicks, I should say. They were going to put it down in the corner.
Yeah, and you know, you're down 15-0 right now, ironically, because you're the team that's been here.
Yeah.
So you figure, okay, maybe we've got a little bit of confidence in ourselves. We've been in the Boston area, familiarized ourselves with the locals, and yet it's Leinster that's out to this fast start. I'm sure we'll see Jimmy back in the match, John.
Take a look at for a little blood here. He may return in 10 minutes. You have 10 minutes to patch him up as they send in a reserve there.
And speaking of reserves, both teams are relatively thin. Looks like it's going to be Max O'Reilly coming in.
Max O'Reilly makes his way on the field. O'Reilly.
St. Jared's product.
Yep. And a high tackle was the call there from referee O'Sullivan, and Healy will push this towards a corner with 15 minutes just about gone in this first half. Munster needs some points here. Going for the three-point kick. Probably not what they're looking for. I'm sure they've got something worked out here. Strong forward pack, capable of driving through the best of them.
You know, Healy's one of those Glenstal Abbey grads.
Number on both teams here. There's a couple of Glenstal Abbey players. Some good rugby going on at that school these days. As off they go as predicted. Owen Clark at the back. Would love to get his name on the score sheet if they can work this over. Driving towards the line. Little split in the Leinster defense, but now they're going to go get the ball out there to French. And Munster has touched this one over. We'll see who comes up with this, but a good little interplay there. Nice little work. French danced through a couple. Slipped the ball up to his center partner, Tynan. And Tynan touches down for 5. 15-5, Leinster over Munster, and was turning into a great first half.
Yeah, here's the replay. Nicely gotten out, and then a quick burst by French, and Tynan touching it down. And Tynan.
Great work from Tynan, just a step in that little space there. Might be a bit tough to see from this angle, but you'll see him cross the line. Tynan just stepped in, and you see him get across the line there. Great little footwork there.
And you know about Tynan, I'm looking at my notes from the last game. They had him as a 15 and a 10. Here he is tonight at 13.
He's certainly working his rounds today to see him get across the line there. Accomplished Gaelic football and hurling player as well. As we see, the kick from Healy is good, and we're at 15-7. Leinster over Munster, just over 15 minutes gone in this CARA Cup match.
I think we're going to see some points scored tonight,
I think
John.
this is going to be a great game right here. If you're a fan of running rugby, this is where you want to be. Both these teams certainly trying to make it happen. A little bit in tighter there with the power of those centers for Munster. But Leinster has the speed out wide so far.
And we still have fans filing in. It is a Wednesday night.
Wednesday evening, the suburbs of Boston. Stafford, the captain from Wexford, takes it inside his 22 and pushes it out. So we're going to have a line out here for Leinster, just inside the 40-meter line of Munster. We'll see where they decide to go with this as Ronan Kelleher.
His brother Cian is with Connacht, but he's coming to Leinster. And their dad is the headmaster at St. Michael's.
Really?
Yeah. So no messing with that family.
St. Michael's, a lot of connections in the U.S. these days. Eagle attack coach for the U.S. national team was a former director of rugby there, Greg McWilliams.
The Irish George Clooney.
If that's what you want to call him. And a bit of a mess. Kicking back and forth there, comes down, and Leinster is going to come up with the ball. They've been pushed back this time, however, and they put the ball up there to big Gerard Hill from Old Belvedere. All these guys play at their club rugby and then play for Leinster on the way up the pathway towards the national team. And launching a high one there is Paddy Patterson. He moves it back well. Kingston across the 22. Stafford feeds one more, just a little bit slower around these contact areas is this Munster team than Leinster, allowing the Leinster defense to set fairly well. So they're going to want to speed that tempo up as they can. It looks like we're going to have another box kick here. Stafford puts another one up in the lights, but referee O'Sullivan has spotted something, and we're going to come back. Going to be a penalty there against Munster. A Leinster ball. We'll see where they decide to go with this. And they pointed directly. They're going to go for the corner. Going to look for that driving maul.
I don't know
or
if
to
the
move it
folks
out
at
wide.
home, I'm sorry, John. I don't know if the folks at home could catch it, but I believe I heard one of the officials yelling, "Frenchie, get out of there." So
These referees are maybe well aware of these players, and they've seen each other.
here's your replay.
Ball comes down, and we just go back for that penalty.
It was an excellent catch.
It was a good
that
catch.
kick. It was under pressure.
As throw goes up there from Kelleher. Now the drive on. This is the first one we've seen of this from Leinster. They've been able to shut down the forward drive from Munster, but this time Leinster on their way, making some good ground. They've gotten the advantage for an illegal play in there by the Munster team, and they get that ball in the hands of Gavin Mullen. Gavin Mullen dances through a couple. Trying to hurdle his way over is Patterson. Not getting there, however, and a quick drive off to the right-hand side. They've got a little space out there if they can move the ball, but they've gone back the other way. These big boys would love to touch this ball down and get their name on the score sheet in the CARA Cup. Referees come back for another penalty.
This is an important stand for Munster. You can see the frustration on some of the front row guys from Munster. Little after the fact shove. But, you know, they're all trying to put their hand up, right, for the senior clubs and for Ireland. Here's your replay.
Take another look here. They're just trying to drive from one side to the other. There's a player just coming off the wrong side there for this Munster team. And they've gone for the corner again. We're going to have another throw in for Leinster here. Kelleher, another St. Michael's product. I think Matt might have said that. And has the ball in his hands again, does Ronan Kelleher. Ronan Kelleher has to go to ground. Leinster content to play the power game right here, driving towards that coveted white line. Ball around the back again, Kelleher. And it looks like Kelleher is over this time. And so he is. Ronan Kelleher scores a try. Little loss there. The ref's whistle wasn't quite the excitement we're used to.
Yeah.
Somebody scoring a try.
Yeah.
But Ronan Kelleher comes out with another 5 points for this Leinster team. And they've moved the score 20-7. Things are looking good.
Yeah, you know, here's the replay. You'll see him squeeze through the cracks there, right there. Boom. A little bit like Dylan Fawcett.
Could be a Dylan.
Who was a Blackrock guy.
Player, also a Blackrock player, plays for the U.S. national team.
Dare we say Blackrock and St. Michael's in the same sentence?
Sure, sure. Good little move there by the number 6, Dan Sheehan, however. He was the one just before Kelleher took that ball, and he was able to just pull a couple of legally right on the border, pull a couple of players right out of the way, pave the way for Kelleher to touch that down. Kelleher owes Sheehan a debt of gratitude for that one. That's Connor Kelly. Played in the U19s for the Irish national team, the age grade side. Plays at Clontarf. Oh, off the post with that one is Kelly. And we're still at 20-7. Good lead here at the 20-minute mark, halfway through this first half of action at the CARA Cup.
You'd expect him to make that kick, John.
You would expect him off the left to make that kick. Didn't quite happen as Healy to get us started again.
Healy on the Ireland 18s, 19s. He scored 19 points in the Celtic Cup recently.
Another good kickoff there, but taken away by Leinster. Leinster is on the run here. That's Gavin Mullen. Gavin Mullen's got red jerseys all around him. Able to wriggle free and gets it down, and with a head of steam, looking to go wide is Leinster. Leinster gets the ball in the big number 8's hands.
Ruan, yeah, that's Ruan
Byron. He slips the ball up there. I believe it's Aaron O'Sullivan.
Scored by number 14,
Aaron O'Sullivan, English-born, is the recipient of that pass from the big man, Ruan Byron, as we're taking a look at it.
And there's your restart. And it's taken by Leinster. Nice little look inside, and there goes Gavin Mullen down the sidelines, right up the gut. He's got pace. He's tackled from behind, but the following, and here comes the score, John. Nice pass, long pass outside.
Well, that was Sheehan, actually. That wasn't Byron.
Danny Sheehan with a great pass there, yeah.
You could see the other backs out there just pointing that they had width. You know, there was no defense out wide. Just really good work by those outside backs. They helped Kelly to make that decision.
And Danny Sheehan, shows you the versatility of these folks. He's a number 6, but he's also a hooker.
Really?
Or a front row guy, yeah. Playing blindside with a pass like that.
That one is good from Leinster. As we go to 27-7, a 20-point lead here. Munster some work to do to work their way back.
If you're a wing and you've got a 2-on-1 coming, and there's a freight train like Danny Sheehan, and then he throws a pass like that,
pretty impressive.
You've got your work cut out for you.
It was,
to say the least.
There was a lot going on there for Phillips to deal with. The wing. Leinster come down safely this one last time. Munster able to tap it back, but Leinster wound up with it anyway. As a waiting group of forwards gets set. No block kick there. We'll see what happens here. A little tip forward. Munster now looking to clean up and capitalize, on that. Ball gets moved back there. Connor Kelly has to bring it in. And on their own line is Leinster with a bit of work to do. Imagine they'll look for the kick to clear out of here, and they do through Jimmy O'Brien. O'Brien back in the game, launches one down. Not too far. It's going to be a Munster line out inside the 22 of this Leinster team.
They're going to take a minute there, try to collect themselves. You're down 20 points right now, and we're just 24 minutes approximately into the half, right?
Yep.
You're on the road, but this is the other team's on the road less than you've been on the road, right? So you want to, you're in essence the home team here.
Good drive by Leinster as Munster tries to put that one together. Ripping the ball out is Stafford. Referee awards an advantage for a penalty here to Munster. Leinster breaking some of the rules inside that mass of bodies, and they're going to come back for that penalty quickly. Stafford looks for an option, but they're going to stop and steady it down, go for the corner, see if they can get the ball in Owen Clark's hands. They were successful before off this lineout. They can use these points.
And they can score points. They've got very, very good players across the board, specifically in the back line. They've got a lot of seasoned players that have had top experience, whether it was with the Irish under-20s in the Grand Slam, in the Six Nations, or the World Cup over the years. They've got the horses. It's just that they've been misfiring.
No problem there for Sean O'Connor. Tipperary man comes down with that ball. Ball on the ground, however, they're going to have to play it a little differently, but knocked on. Good work there by Leinster to put the pressure on him. We're going to have a scrum here for Leinster.
So far, everything going the way of the men in blue.
So far. 15 minutes to go in this first half of CARA Cup action.
Gerard Hill getting a pat on the back. Gerard Hill, the number 4, is a triplet, by the way, and they're not identical. And they're 3 boys, and they all played rugby.
Wow.
Triplets.
Triplets.
Imagine
impressive.
feeding that trio. Because I don't know if you had the chance to meet Gerard Hill, but he is a large man.
He's a big fella.
And if triplets might not be identical, but I'm sure they're in the same ballpark size-wise.
Sure, he didn't get all the height out of the 3. As we get somebody getting attended to here for Munster and Leinster. Big Vac Abdeladze from Kutaisi, Georgia. Georgia, the country.
Yeah, he's a large man, and they're very high on the Irish radar for the national team.
Certainly is, and he's played 6 times for the Leinster senior team. Scored a try there. Dad was, correct me if I'm wrong, a number 8 for Georgia.
You are correct, sir.
And we're going to take just a minute to toss it down to the sidelines to Aki Raymond, our man on the spot.
Thanks, guys. It's a pretty chill night today. The Wednesday is like pretty chilly here in the catacombs of Weymouth. But the fans seem to be enjoying the game. Also, the players seem to not be dealing too harsh with the weather. It's still a good game. Everybody seems to be enjoying on the stands. All right, tossing back to you guys.
Thanks, Aki, and we're back to the game here. It's going to be a scrum to Leinster.
Crouch.
Aki Raymond, a player, a great rugby player. Sevens is his specialty, generally. We'll be talking to Aki occasionally during this game as referee O'Sullivan pulls it up. Wants to make sure this one is steady.
Crouch.
And there's no language barrier. He speaks Irish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he's speaking in English, Matt, but sure. As Patterson, the 5'8", 170-pound scrum half, works the ball. The ball gets to Byron. Byron has to come off the back. Good defense there by Munster. A penalty against Leinster, not releasing that ball on a Munster challenge. And Munster just outside of the Leinster line here, going to have the opportunity to put 5 more points on the board. So we have another player down here.
That looks like Mark Fleming. I beg your pardon. I got that backwards.
Ross O'Neill.
Yeah, Ross O'Neill. And that looks like a knee or a...
Yeah, he looks to be in a bit of pain there.
Yeah.
So we'll hope the best for him as Healy pushes that one out. We'll wait to see it just...
But his physio is taking out the bag and the ice, which usually doesn't mean he's going to take him off the pitch. So that could be a good sign.
So here, just stretching out that leg a little bit.
And it's hard to believe that it was just 2 years ago that Ross O'Neill was part of that Cork Constitution side that had that amazing season and that title in the All-Ireland League. So we're certainly hoping for the best for him. What have you seen so far, John, that impresses you about Leinster?
You know, Leinster has just been the game speed for me. I mean, they really have gotten a hold of that ball and had purpose, and width. You know, they got tight players running in there, you know, banging up, making some space for them, but they're not afraid to move that ball wide, and the guys know where they're supposed to be. You know, they look just a little more finely tuned in their systems to me, and able to play a little bit more game speed.
Yeah, and again, you know, there's
The
no
ball goes up to
underestimating
Paddy
that
Kelly
speed.
there. And we'll come back to that. Munster on the run. Good challenge there from Leinster to slow that ball down a little bit, and Clark has a hold of it. Clark rolling towards the line, can't quite get there. They are knocking on the door. Ball goes up to Keenan Knox, but a knock on there from Clark in those tight areas. And we're going to go back to a scrum for Leinster. And just a bit of hard luck there for this Munster team. It looked like they were right on it.
Yeah, there was some collisions going on in there. Owen Clark is a solid guy. He's out of the Monkstown CBC, not the Cork CBC.
Yes. Well,
There
one of
are
the
other
others.
CBCs in Ireland, right? But great defense by Leinster. You know, not backing down from the charging
Absolutely.
Clark.
Bind.
Referee O'Sullivan
Set.
pulls the teams together. Ball at Byron's feet. Byron
Roll away,
just
ready.
outside of his own
1
zone.
foot 7.
Taken down. They're going to have some work to do here. Is this Leinster forward pack? They're going to push it back there, and they're going to have Kelly push that one downfield. Good kick for the limited angle that he had. And we're going to have a line out here for Munster. Seems just outside the 22 of this Leinster team.
Yeah, and you know it was great to see Ross O'Neill, who was just down, applied that pressure from the flank position and caused that kick. So he's back in form, and that's important for Munster.
Clark again. Nearly taken away by Leinster. Pushed back over the top there, but Munster's going to come down with it, and they're going to move that ball out to Clark. Clark featuring a lot in this first half of this team. Certainly an aggressive ball carrier as the ball gets moved. Attempted to move, but it's not going to happen. Good pressure again from Leinster. Munster pushes the ball free. They're in a little bit of trouble here. They're going to have to see what they can do to come up with that one. It looks like Jack Daly drags it to the ground eventually. And they're looking at some width here. Healy puts one up around the back. Let's see what they can do here with these runners. They put the ball up there to McCarthy. Around the side goes Stafford. Stafford looking for a teammate, but it's been knocked backwards but not caught.
Oh, no. Oh.
Stafford this time finds Paddy Kelly. Turned it over, driven back. Leinster now with the ball on the attack. Ball comes up there. Looks like Sheen again. They might have been thinking about going wide there if they had the room. We'll see where they decide to go. And they go to the short side. Busting through there.
Advantage.
Knocking on, however, was the big number 2, Kelleher. And it's a Munster advantage now. It'll be over soon as they cross the 22. Now the ball comes up. It is in Keenan Knox's hands. Keenan Knox recycles it. They move all around. Clark once again takes it in. Stafford finds another runner there, and Kean Reel, the old Crescent player, slipping across there is Munster, just getting behind the defensive line of this Leinster team, and they're on a bit of a roll here. We'll see what they can do as Keenan Knox resets. Stafford looking for a couple players, but a little interplay from the forwards there as they move it. Now they're looking to move this one wide, and it's Jack Daly, the carry man. Stafford again, forced to bring the ball back in as Munster. Off they go to the big number 3 there. He's driving towards the line as Keenan Knox, and Keenan Knox uses that power. 6 foot, 253 pounder, a 19-year-old is just going to barrel his way over the line. And another 5 points here from Munster as they bring it to 12.
You know, one of the more highly touted players out of South Africa, and some of the South African friends that we have were lamenting the loss of him as a front row player. And here comes your replay, John.
So we'll just take a look at this. Munster just keeping it in tight here as the ball gets up to the big boy, and he just takes 1, 2, 3 on his shoulders and barrels it right over. Just take a look at it from the side here, and you just see the massive bodies moving. It looks like bowling pins flying back there.
Yeah.
And Knox touches it down, no problem. And just rewards for good work in Munster in the last few minutes, as we're under 10 minutes to go in this first half of CARA Cup action, hosted by the New England Free Jacks.
You know, getting back to Knox, fast track, young Munster, Munster A, and he made his debut against the Connacht Eagles in the Celtic Cup in September 2018. So he's a player that's on the Ireland radar as well.
That kick is good. It is 27-14, as it looks like we have a replacement coming in here. Looks as though Fleming is going off. Giuseppe Coyne may be coming on the field. Leinster to kick off this time. Connor Kelly.
You know, that was an important try for Munster. They had been down there before, but unforced errors, which is always arguable, but knock-ons, bad passes, but they put it home that time. That's important for them.
Just outside the 22, good kick there from Kelly. Munster forced to take the ball down to the ground and have to use their kicks wisely. Can't put it directly in a touch from there. As an oncoming rushing red wave comes in through, and Stafford looking for the box kick now. Get some territory, put a bit of pressure on this Leinster team to get it in behind them. Have done. Ball hits the ground. Tap back and forth a couple of times. Munster comes down with it. Referee O'Sullivan happy with that as the ball gets worked out to back to Healy, and Healy to the left boot. Trying to find some grass back there, but does not. Patterson decides he wants to try to have a run.
Interesting choice there, John.
We'll see if he gets away with this, but it's been taken away there by Munster. Good work. Patterson may have been smarter to just hoof that one away. Hasn't done as Stafford chips one in behind. Leinster well fielded, spotted that one, and they now have found some territory rolling inside the 22 into the hands of Sean French. Sean French wants to slow down proceedings and puts it in a touch. So it'll be a Leinster line out just inside the 50-meter line, unless they choose to go quick, which they have not.
Yeah, that is indefinitely Giuseppe Coyne. And I'm going to venture to guess that his mom was Italian and his dad was Irish.
Could be, could be.
Giuseppe Coyne.
His friends call him Peppy, if you need to know.
Dublin University and Blackrock College. We'll maybe have Aki check in to see what the injury was to Mark Fleming. But he did walk off under his own volition.
Leinster back underway there with Gerard Hill in the lineout. Then it comes down and gets to the Gavin Mullen. He's been effective every time with ball in hand, has Mullen. As the ball comes and wriggling through there is Jack Kelly. What work from Kelly? He finds a runner with him. That is one of the big boys. That's Ronan Kelleher. He has played one time for Leinster. In this game, he's got his first try. Great support line from the hooker, but wonderful break from Jack Kelly. What footwork. And Leinster answers quick and puts 5 points on the board.
Yeah, that's that Sevens speed and footwork, and you're going to see that in this replay right here, John.
Just look at Kelly there. Look at that. He just shucking off tacklers, just moving his feet, keeping it going, find a little bit of space there, and a great hard run there. Look at that. 1, 2, no problem. He is away. Finds his hooker, and Kelleher shows some speed there.
Yep, with a headmaster for a father, he's doing his lessons in following, that's for sure.
As we take a look at the try being scored here by Kelleher, his teammates pretty happy. The hooker pretty happy himself, as it is a few more points on the board. Connor Kelly. Finds the post, no problem, and Connor Kelly.
You call him conversion Kelly there. Right there, right?
Connor, yeah. Conversion Kelly puts it 32-14.
But you know, John, getting back to the Sevens players, Jack Kelly shows that he is a 15s player. We've seen some 7s players here from Ireland in this tournament, and they weren't exactly.
Yeah, they weren't translated into the 15s.
Right. This
quite
guy
as
went
well
right
as they
through,
should.
brushed off some tackles, burst up the middle.
Jimmy O'Brien as well played some 7s. The two of them as the ball goes high and taken down by Munster. Amazing from McCarthy. And they knock it on eventually, but what an incredible effort on that kick for Munster to take down their own ball. And McCarthy could have almost been away with it. As you take a look at the kick is high in the air. McCarthy gets in behind him and comes down with ball in hand. What incredible placement of a kick. What a great individual effort. If he could have just held on to it there, it would have been a great attacking opportunity as we're winding down this first half of CARA Cup action.
You know, he came through the Dragons in the U18 ranks over in Wales, and he represented Wales in the U18s as well.
Crouch.
So he's a player to watch, James McCarthy.
Bind. Set.
As are pretty much all these players tonight. You know, it's cliche, but you've got all these players with all this potential.
And what would be considered a farm system here, but penalty against Munster there. Impressive play. Great drive by the forward pack of this Leinster side.
And John, other than the obvious experience for the New England Free Jacks, this is great for an American audience and for these passionate people here in New England to see these kinds of players and grow the game, because it's, you know, it really is just growing the brand of rugby.
When you have, you know, Munster-Leinster here is a rivalry like New York and Boston sports. You know, this dates back to 1879.
Yeah.
This has been going on for a while.
Yeah.
And this is just the next generation of it coming through. So these are guys you're going to see on the international stage. These are guys you're going to see in the pro sides. These are impressive young men really, really building a life for themselves in rugby. Great systems going on in Ireland right now as we get a look at Kelleher. Hasn't done enough by scoring a try. He's going to keep putting these balls in like a dart. And here they go, driving away. Haul to the ground is Kelleher. See what they decide to do is they put it into Mullen. Mullen, Dublin-born, wins his contact once again. And powering through the defensive line is a quick set of forwards there from Leinster. And Jimmy O'Brien nearly gets away. He's hauled down by the bootstraps. Little kick ahead there from Kelly. Ball is back in the hands of Connor Kelly. Patterson looking for a runner. Now he's to try to sneak through. Bit of boxer's footwork there from him as they put the ball back up to O'Brien, and O'Brien sets it. They may have some numbers out wide here. There's only one defender out to the left. You can see in red as they start to slide over. And there they are through Sheehan. Sheehan pops the ball over to Big Angier. And he touches it down.
Jack Ainger.
Sorry.
With a nice try there. Showing some soft hands there to collect the pass. But, you know, we're in the shadow of the Red Sox. There are home run hitters in that back line.
There certainly are.
For Leinster. Here's your replay, John.
You see here, just look at the forward momentum that Munster gets here. Whenever they get the ball, they get across the line, all right? And there's O'Brien, just hauled down by the back of his boots there. Jack Kelly puts one through. They start to move it across here. Once again, Sheehan just pops it over. Pops off a red hand there, but the former Terranor College player touches it down, the big number 3, Angier. And there you see him again touching that ball down. He draws a lot of comparisons to Cian Healy,
yes,
current Irish international there. As we get the look at it here, you'll see the man pile over. Certainly a happy fella right there.
Well, he doesn't have those redwood thighs yet that Cian Healy has, but he's getting there.
That's what the weight room is for. Kelly puts one up. And that is halftime here at Union Point Sports Complex. 41-14, Leinster lead Munster. And we're going to go down right now to Aki Raymond on the sidelines.
Hey, thank you, guys. I am with the CEO of the Free Jacks, Alex McElby. What do you think of the game today?
Okay, I mean, it's great to see how fast and quick the boys are moving the ball today, especially given the weather, and it's fantastic rugby really on a Wednesday night in the suburbs of Boston. Who would have ever thought you'd have this quality of rugby now here in the United States? It's fantastic.
So the CARA Cup, what came to fruition? How did this all start?
You know, for us, when we were building, the Free Jacks, the entirety of this first year is it's to really learn who we are, you know, and that's on the field, off the field. How are we going to be professional? How do we take a great group of locals? How do we layer in and build the onion around it? And what are we going to do? And you know, certainly bringing in quality opposition who have gone through this experience, you know, 20, 30, 40 years ago plus, to be professional outfits, to test us on the field and to learn a bit off the field what it means to be a professional outfit. And that was the impetus for the CARA Cup, and what are great groups that we can do that are gritty teams that like to move the ball. It's fun rugby, and of course the provinces have done a great job providing that for us.
So the Free Jacks have a big game this weekend. What do you think it's going to take to win that game?
Yeah, it's going to be a really fun game. And first of all, you gotta have possession, right? And then we don't have possession. You got to not have possession on your terms. That'll be a big challenge. As you can see tonight, they're moving the ball quite well, and they're able to play all aspects of the game. And so that's a great challenge for us, you know, to learn how to play that quality of rugby. And we get to do it in front of a home crowd in the city. It'll be a fantastic event.
Hope we will. Thank you for the interview,
Absolutely.
Alex. Send you back to you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Aki. We're going to step aside for a moment. We're going to come right back with first half analysis and some interviews from our crack commentating team right after this. Welcome back to the Union Point Sports Complex, where Leinster A leads Munster 41-14. This is John Broker with Matt McCarthy. Earlier on, Matt had a chance to talk with Oliver Engelhardt of the New England Free Jacks. We're going to bring that to you right now.
Hey everybody, Matt McCarthy with Ollie Engelhardt of the New England Free Jacks. Ollie, CARA Cup, great experience. What's it been like for you?
Oh, it's been absolutely fantastic so far, on the field and off the field. We've had the Irish guys coming over, and we've had amazing games with Ulster, Munster, and Connacht, and then we're looking forward to Leinster. But of course, we've had the opportunity to work with these guys off the field in the business development, the professional development, and then the skills in terms of playing development as well. So truly an exchange of culture. But before we continue, I got to point out one thing. It seems that there is a prerequisite with the New England Free Jacks and even Dartmouth for redheaded players. I think so. You know, Alex Magleby, he of course is a redhead. I've known Alex for a few years now, and he likes to keep his redheads together. We have myself and Tiger Leader. I hope we get that 9-10 combination, and it's just been a fantastic opportunity with him as well. So can't complain. Redheads stick together.
Well, you guys are playing well together, and this experience is just making you guys that much better. What is the one key thing that you think some of your players have taken out of this, playing against these better players?
I think it's learning how to be a professional and working into that professional environment. These guys are young, but they've been in it for a while, and they know what it takes day in and day out. And I think our players are working on that and really motivated by being in this environment, and we're only going to grow from here. Every single person's taking away $1 million from it.
Yeah, because the opposing coaches have said the physicality of the Free Jacks has been something they've had to contend with, but maybe not 80 minutes. Is that something you guys want to work on?
Definitely. I think, it's all about finishing. It's not just about the first 20 minutes, not the first 40, but about that 80 minutes. We want to make sure that we come onto the field that everybody in the squad, not just the 23, but the 30, 40 guys that are training with us every single day are ready to step on, fill in the shoes, and take it to the 80th minute.
All right, my friend. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it, and continue success.
Thank you so much. Great to be here.
All right.
Oliver Engelhardt, great future in rugby for that young man. We're going to go to a break right now and come back and discuss a first half action and what to expect in the second half. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hey everybody, it is 2019, and in 2018, Next Level Rugby was all over the country and the world, bringing you coverage of our sport up close and personal. It all started in Denver, then headed out to Vegas, and then next thing you know, we're in New York City, Japan, Austin, Texas, and a bunch of other places all across the country. But we would really like to thank the players, our fans, and most importantly, our partners that are helping to drive the growth of American rugby here in the United States and beyond. So let's just take a look at some of the shots that, we really loved and fell in love with, and, what made 2018 a special year is going to make 2019 even better. We're looking forward to what 2019 brings, and stay tuned. And remember, every day is a rugby day.
We are back at the CARA Cup, where Leinster A leads Munster A 41-14. We're in the halftime break here. This is John Broker with Matt McCarthy. Teams will be returning to the field in just a couple of minutes, so buckle in for that second half of action. But let's just talk about this first half. It's been a little bit of contrasting styles, Matt.
Yeah, Munster has had no answer whatsoever for the backline firepower of Leinster. We talked about it a number of times during the first half. They've got sevens players for Ireland in that back line, but they've also got guys that have played together growing up through the different aspects of the systems with Ireland. We're getting a glimpse of this, how valuable that is. The age grades, the high school, what they call college, and the university level, and now with the academy teams.
just some of those players you're talking about there. I mean, it's all starting from Connor Kelly, right? Like Connor Kelly has just got the vision of that field in his head, does at number 10. He sees what's going on. The forwards and Paddy Patterson are giving him a great ball there, and he's getting the ball out to Jimmy O'Brien. He's getting the ball out to Jack Kelly. Those guys can really out wide just make a difference and tear it up. But you also have the absolute rock of Gavin Mullen at inside center. Like when they need somebody just to put a little power in and just to reset, they have that. They have just great combinations across that back line that are making a huge difference there. But let's talk about this Munster team for a minute. A little different. They're more of a power squad.
Yeah, they are a power squad, and unfortunately for them, every time they're down, they're knocking on the door, an error happens, a penalty happens. And it might be frustration of trying to do too much and getting behind too far early, but they do have the firepower to come back in this match, or at least make it respectable. And again, as we've said over and over again, this is not just a friendly trip over to the Boston area to be in the United States. These players are trying to make the senior teams and Ireland.
All right. And as the teams are starting to come back out on the field, let's just talk about the CARA Cup for a minute. This is a pretty historic event we have going on here, hosted by the New England Free Jacks. Matt, tell us a little about the Free Jacks and the CARA Cup.
Well, the Free Jacks will be in the MLR, U.S.
Major League
MLR,
Rugby.
right, Major League Rugby, for the folks at home that don't know what that is yet, which is in its second year. And next year, the Free Jacks will be joining along with two other teams, the Atlanta squad and the Old Glory out of D.C. And this is a great experience for them. You know, their roster is going to be looking a lot different than it does right now, but the experience and the exposure that the core of their players that will be coming back are getting is just invaluable.
And Leinster will be playing the Free Jacks at Harvard's Mignoni Field on Saturday at 5 p.m. or Sunday at 5 p.m. And it's also going to be here on Nesson. But we're ready to get going with the second half here as our referee O'Sullivan set to get us underway.
And John, just the synergy between, you know, the provinces of Ireland and the Free Jacks could mean kind of like a little farm system like they have with the Scottish Rugby Union and Old Glory out of D.C.
Scotland has invested in Old Glory in D.C., so they may be able to play some players there. I think you're saying CEO Alex McAvee might have some wily ideas with doing this.
He's crazy, but I think he knows that there's some Irish people in the New England, Boston area.
And an early attack there from Leinster, but I think the referee wanted to slow it down. There may have been an errant arm there from one of the forwards from Leinster. Bit of foul play. We'll see what the line judge Gavican have to say here.
You've got the referees talking to each other about what's going on down there. And one is decidedly shorter than the other.
6 blue. 6 blue.
And
6
that's
blue.
Dan Sheehan.
Okay. It's dangerous. You played with the forearm. Okay. Yellow.
A yellow card there to Dan Sheehan. Seconds into this second half of action here at the CARA Cup.
Okay.
That is going to be unfortunate. He spent 10 minutes on the bench for that infraction. You can't just lead with the arm into somebody's face.
Well, not if you're being
These
watched. Yeah, you can't get, especially if the side judges have any power. They're not just somebody holding the flag and running touch.
And Munster has pushed the ball down. So they have a one-man advantage for 10 minutes in the forwards, and Dan Sheehan has been a pretty key part of this Leinster squad. So that's going to be important for Munster. We'll see what they choose to do. Owen Clark still in the game.
Owen Clark is a player, and he's got to be frustrated because he's been all over the pitch tonight when Munster's had the ball. But there's the line out.
Never mind, that was, they did make a halftime substitution there. That was Billy Scannell. We'll talk about him and his family in just a minute.
7 right
as Leinster is able to take away that one. And Leinster down one man, a bit of pressure there. I'm sure there was a message from the Munster coaching staff to put more defensive pressure on him. You see it come to fruition right there. Able to wriggle away is a big number 4, Gerard Hill. Pressure in the backs now against Leinster. Certainly what Munster's going to want to do here. Can't play it down as Healy goes in to make that tackle. But Leinster comes up with it again. The forward pod runs just a little wider, trying to make some space out there. Create a block as the ball goes out around the back. That one's a bit deep this time. We'll see what O'Brien can do. O'Brien looking for somebody to pop that ball up to. No one materializes. He's going to send that one out. They work their way back across the field, but slipping through the line there, and a great little break before the pass does not go to hand and gives it right back to Munster. So they work their way across halfway, and Healy pushes it down into the corner. And great little touch finder there as it rolls in. It's going to be a Leinster line out deep in their own zone.
You know, just the little things that Leinster is doing correctly. You just saw back Abdeladze, you know, break into the open and with a little, you know, reach around pass, soft hands, soft touch. You know, you don't see that in front rows at 20 over here in the States.
Certainly not all the time.
Not yet, anyway.
Yeah. We're going to go down to Aki on the sidelines to talk about this yellow card situation.
Man, it's big news. Just from my experience alone and from playing a man down, you feel like you're playing with more urgency on defense. When you have the ball, you want to play just a little bit more slower. You're kicking the ball. You're walking towards the sideline for the lineouts just a little bit slower. You're getting towards the rucks and scrums just a little bit slower, just to buy some time for your player to get back on the field. All right, I'm going to toss it back to you guys.
Excellent, excellent. Thank
you, Aki.
Let's go.
Leinster now deep in their own zone.
John, I got to say, Aki is finding his groove.
Certainly is.
He is.
Ball goes up there, and Big Hill called upon one more time to take it down. Good little drive from a shorthanded lineout from this Leinster team here. Scannell, Billy Scannell, young Munster player, works his way into the back there. Ball goes in a touch. Let's talk about their replacement hooker for Munster.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of pedigree in the family. Just his
a bit.
older brothers, Niall and Billy, playing for the Ireland team, you know.
Or maybe Rory. His brother
Rory.
Billy maybe doing something else.
This is Billy.
Yeah.
No, sorry. You got Rory and Niall in the centers and hooker respectively. And he's following in Niall's footsteps.
As we see him there. Nice pass, puts the ball up, comes down from Paddy Kelly. And they move it to French. They go back the other way to the forwards. A little slip pass there. Phillips been scoring tries with every team he's ever played with at this CARA Cup. He has yet to be able to get into full flight, but good work there as as Ross O'Neill from Cork Constitution barrels his way through. Pops the ball up. The try scorer Keenan Knox takes it to ground this time.
All back.
Ball's gone back, but a little bit messy there as they have to go in and clean it up. Off they come through Scannell. He's wriggling his, sorry, that was not Scannell. Wriggling his way forward there is Munster. They're about 5 meters out. You can see that post. Sure, they feel it's just calling them onwards as they go.
Leave it blue, blue, blue. You're not sport. You're on the ground.
Stafford pops it up.
Leave it blue.
Clark is still on the field, so we have a couple different people. Ball goes to French. Spilled forward by Munster again, right on the Leinster line, pushing and pushing. Leinster stays calm with their defense, able to force a turnover.
It's the frustration. It's partly the defense of Leinster, which is a great deal to do with it, but also you're behind. You might be trying to do too much at once. Here's the replay.
Okay, let's go blue.
You see there, Munster just working their way through the phases there. Put the ball out wide to French. French just has that pressure on him. Taking the ball close to the gain line there.
Yeah, French trying to do that little no-look pass and try to get away with it. I think you just got to tuck the ball, go to turf.
41-14 is our score.
Crouch.
You know, that gets you halfway there just about if you get that try and the conversion there.
Set.
Patterson's had a busy night tonight.
Certainly has. Very active player. Popping up all over the place.
The ripe old age of 19, John.
Scrum's a bit of a mess there. The ball pops up, winds up in Munster hands, and slipped back across from McCarthy. McCarthy puts down a try off a great work from the Munster forwards there. And great work by Healy just to spot that little space. Well played.
A nice no-look pass from Healy, and McCarthy able to dot it down. That'll give Munster something to work with here early in the second half. Here's your replay, John.
Watch this Munster work here. That scrum just crumbles and the ball comes squirting out there. Healy picks it, finds his way between a couple people, and just pushes it back around to McCarthy. Great work. Great work there.
And watch this play on the outside. Healy draws in 3 Not one, not two, but 3 Leinster tacklers or potential tacklers to free up McCarthy on the outside.
Great work to get the ball to one hand and just come around there. He does it at the right time.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but us McCarthys always get the get the end of somebody else's hard work.
Oh, so now you're related.
Oh, absolutely.
As we get a look at Healy. Glenstal Abbey product. 19-year-old. His kick is good, and they have moved up some points here.
And by no means am I trying to compare myself to James McCarthy, this fine player. So everybody just save your letters.
And a 20-point lead as it goes to 41-21. Leinster over Munster.
Yeah, all right, so a little bit of life from Munster right now, John.
Certainly, yeah, a little bit of comeback here. They're, as you said, you know, they're more days off the plane than the Leinster team. Leinster's got some players on the bench they'll want to bring in there, but Billy Scannell, some of the other players making a big difference for this Munster team as Leinster kicks off. Can't retrieve their own there, and there's a try scorer. McCarthy pulled right back into action. He gets a little pop-up this time, but the ball doesn't go quite through. Tynan, the young Munster man, pushes one in a touch, and Leinster lucky to get away with that. Looked like a pretty good opportunity there for the men in red.
Yeah, you can tell they're breaking out all the schoolyard plays now. They're trying to get something going, right? With Alan Tynan going to the foot there in the open along the touch line. At least it found touch before it went out. Otherwise, he'd be getting an earful from his coach.
Abdelazi tells Kelleher what he wants, and the ball gets put down, but knocked on in that line out. It's going to be an advantage here for Munster as Clark still on the field to find out which position all these guys are playing, and pops it through there for the try scorer McCarthy. He gets a boot on it. Will it pop up for him? And 2 in a row in under 2 minutes. It is James McCarthy, born in Wales, played for the Ireland U20, scores his 2nd try, and Munster looking pretty hot 8 minutes into the second half.
That's right, James McCarthy, his dad, as we said, was Irish. His mom is Welsh. Came up through the Dragons, U18 ranks in Wales. Here's the replay. A great little kick there.
Stafford. And a little just pushes it on there and gets a nice bounce, does McCarthy, and he's just cutting across that defense there. As you're taking a look at it there, the ball is just put in behind. Great work, Stafford. And little just toe there from McCarthy, and everything just works out for him. Great individual skill from 2 players. Good vision, and they've gotten in behind that Leinster defense.
Of course, Jack Stafford of the Wexford Wanderers. And you can't mention the Wexford Wanderers without mentioning the Hartford Wanderers.
You can, but you don't have to.
Oh, no, I can't.
As the kick is good.
Bringing Munster to 28, Leinster 41.
You know, we haven't heard Stafford's name much tonight, and maybe, you know, if as Munster goes, it's important to have your number 10 and your captain going. So
It certainly is.
Or your number 9, I beg your pardon. But he can play number 10 as
here,
well.
41-28 all of a sudden with 10 minutes gone in the second half. And this is a big change of fortunes here. I don't know what that conversation was like in the Munster locker room at halftime, but they've certainly lit a fire.
Yeah, there might have been a couple of chairs tossed around. We don't know. We can't confirm or deny. But whatever it was, bottle it because it's working. No challenge from Leinster on the restart.
No,
there,
not
really.
at all. Yeah, Leinster a little docile at the moment.
Second half jet lag?
I don't know, could be. Trying to wriggle away there is Clark. He has done. Will they run or will they go back? They're going to go back to Healy. Healy is going to launch one downfield, put it deep just outside the 22 of Leinster, and we'll see what they decide to do. They would love to get some points coming back across. They get it to the man with that footwork there, and Kelly, but Kelly gets taken down. They have an advantage, not sure what it's for, but on the run is Leinster, looking to regain some of that first half excitement, I'm sure. They're going to come back for a penalty. Patterson just hauls it away. Referee calling in a couple of these players.
Don't do that again. Okay. Fair enough.
Just a warning there for Sean French.
Excuse me. No arms.
For a no arms tackle.
And you kind of like to see that. Don't do that again, rather than give him the card, right? Message sent, message received.
And our yellow card should be just about over, I think. That was Munster certainly taking advantage of that one-man advantage. Sheehan will want to make a big impact when he comes back in. Shot of Emilio Luciano, a local referee there, running touch for this team. Shot of the trusty steed of the Free Jacks. I don't know why we have the mascot of the local team, but they are hosting the tournament. As on the move is the Leinster pack. They've split some of these Munster forwards. Possibly trying to draw a penalty here. Ball is back in Kelleher's hands. Patterson moves it out there.
That was a forward
move
pass.
There didn't quite happen, but they're going to let him get away with that. Aaron O'Sullivan takes it to the ground, and Sheehan's back in and immediately makes an impact. Gets a little bit of ground there. Ball gets moved across to the big number 8, Byron. Schools Cup champion, and here they go. See if they can get across the line. Jimmy O'Brien tries to slip a pass, doesn't work, goes in a touch. Going to be a Munster ball here.
Yeah, Munster fortunate because that was an error, an uncharacteristic error from what we've seen so far tonight on the part of Leinster, moving the ball downfield. They were in total control with multiple phases there, but again, Munster avoiding the try, having the ball, maybe another try from McCarthy.
I see who you're rooting for.
Listen,
Munster now.
I'm partial.
Off a knock-on down there. We're going to have a scrum here, just outside of their own zone, though, at the 5-meter line. A lot of pressure here. Leinster really, on their own line, took the brunt of it, and Munster scored a try off of good scrummaging work. I'm sure they're going to want to repay the favor here if they can.
Yeah, and this will be interesting to see how they show their resilience, Munster, right now. They are, again, on the back foot.
On your near side there is Vac Abdeladze and Keenan Knox. No problem, they've come off the back there, but they're still under some pressure as the ball goes into open play. They build a wall of forwards there.
Use it, 9.
Stafford just working the ball out. Can't get too much distance on that as he had big Gerard Hill paying attention to him. It's going to be a Leinster lineout in a great attacking position for the men from the Irish capital.
Yeah, there was no room to get the ball back to Healy. I think that was the wise choice by Stafford. And he was lucky to get it off.
Back you go, blue, red, keep going, yeah.
There are some large men on that field. And again,
big
you know,
fellas
I
out
keep
there.
saying it, but they're like 19 and 20 and giant.
This is a good team here. A little drive forwards, kind of skewing off to the side here. Certainly some power. Munster trying to drive it towards the line. They have to come back out and they get the ball into the Gavin Mullen, the rock. Patterson moves it across, and there's big Dan Sheehan taking the ball like a scrum half does. He's trying to work his way through some traffic there and score a try himself. Make a little bit of room, but doesn't work, and Patterson has to get up, and his forwards take it on just another couple of steps. There you see the ball clear as they're going to go for a pick and drive off the back. Options out to the right of them, and that's where they go, but driven back in. Now they've got some room wide if they can get it there. Have done, long pass, shouldn't be a problem. Try awarded. Leinster answer in fine form there out on the wing. Great job. I believe that's Giuseppe Coyne. We'll see once we get the number.
Yeah, you know, they went out wide. They kept their composure. They did what they were supposed to do. Little hop, skip, and a try on the outside. Here's your
you
replay.
See the ball comes across. See that runner that comes in right here? Really, really draws some people in and opens up that wide pass. Just what you saw, that player came in on an angle, and those final 2 defenders were hit, and it left just one player out wide and a couple of runners. So he certainly had the opportunity to move that out wide, but good vision, good communication out there from Patterson. I believe O'Sullivan on that wing.
Yeah, the engine room really doing the work for Leinster. The 4 faces together just look great in that shot.
That's an interesting shot. I wasn't getting as artistic as you are, Matt McCarthy, as the ball goes up. Sails over the post, no problem. Assistant referees are happy with it. We are at 48-28, a 20-point game again. Just over 15 minutes going on the second half of CARA Cup action here in Weymouth, Mass. On a chilly spring evening.
You know, as a rugby fan, though, John, watching these matches and watching this one in particular, I don't see the score as wide a margin as it is right now. I'm just watching some of these players with their skill.
Yeah, great rugby going on right here. Current and future stars alike on this field. Block kick there. Patterson couldn't quite get that one off. He's going to get another shot at it here. He's going to make sure this one is the UCD man.
And Connor Phillips, the wing, short side wing for Munster there, getting in the mix and helping with that turnover. Connor Phillips at 92 kilograms and 14 stone. John, I'll let you figure that one out. Young Munster kid.
Which one's that? Connor Phillips?
Connor Phillips.
6'2", 202.
It's 14 stone.
I did a lot of math in my head.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. Of course, with the young Munster cookies.
He has been, like I said, it's a try machine. Love to see him get some room to run here today.
They had a huge win last week versus Shannon.
Scannell puts one, not sure it was intentionally over the top, but it went over the top one way or the other. And Ross O'Neill comes down with it. They move the ball in the centers to French. French makes good contact there. They move the ball into Knox's hands. Knox gets a knee to the ground. The Leinster players are going to have to release him. The ball is going to come back to this Munster side. They have a number of forwards out there. They choose to go out the back. Ball comes up into a number of hands there, and that's the man we were just talking about, Phillips. And Phillips.
It's going to be a high tackle, John.
Hauled in a touch, but with a high tackle. Tempers flaring just a bit here. Hopefully Connor Phillips is okay.
Yeah, clearly a high tackle, and then some retaliation on the part of his teammates.
Yeah, just a bit of unnecessary pushing and shoving here. We'll come back, and I'm sure we'll find out what that penalty is for.
Here's the replay.
The ball works out there from Healy. Comes around, I'm trying to see that was the number 8, puts it out to the outside center, gets it up to Phillips, and he just gets a high tackle out there. Tynan giving him that ball. Let's take a look at it here. Don't think it was actually terribly malicious. I think it was just a lot of speed from these players, and he was kind of ducking down.
Yeah.
You know, nothing too malicious in there.
But you know, these
Probably
days,
anything
up top, anything above the shoulders these days is going to get you in trouble. And, you know, it's not a bad policy to institute from the age grades on.
Yep. Referee just having a chat there. Assistant referee Luciano.
And John, I just wanted to go back to Keenan Knox. Noticed in 2018 at the KwaZulu Natal Sharks provincial side in the U18 Craven Week, which is one of the most prestigious schoolboy competitions in world rugby, and he is now playing for Munster. So
Irish rugby is a big draw.
You know, maybe following in the steps of C.J. Stander.
And it's a yellow card to the man with the great feet, Jack Kelly, the stepper.
Because there is 2 tacklers there. Okay, it's a yellow card against 15 for no arms.
Unfortunately, Leinster are going to lose another player for 10 minutes. This happened a few minutes ago, and some points were put on the board by Munster. We are going to see what they want to do here.
No arms.
I think they call that the Farrell.
Yes, the Farrell. The Owen Farrell for the folks at home, the man who apparently doesn't have arms when there's tackling, yet gets away with it time and time again. The villain that is Owen Farrell.
Had the chance to meet him, wonderfully nice guy.
Yeah, and if he's on your team, you love him, right?
But ball put out there by Munster. They're going to go for the pushover try here in the corner and out there man up, but it's in the back. Missing a fullback, so they're going to have to cover that room as Scannell will look to find his mark again.
Bergeron on the Bruins, it's kind of like that feisty kind of guy that you hate to play against, but love on your team anyway.
Ball is up, and Owen Clark has it in his hands. He is in the forward pack this time, but now it works back to Scannell. They're a bit split apart. He drives towards the line. The forward attempts here from this Munster side, all wrapped up by some defenders there. Leinster going to have to get on their feet as they drive once again, surging for just a little extra space there on the deck. looking for either a referee's call, but it's been turned over there by Leinster. Referee seems to be okay with it. Nothing illegal in there from either team.
Use it,
And a man down just a minute into that sin bin, 10 minutes. Leinster pulls one away, pushes it into the safety of touch, but inside the 22, it's going to be a line out here for Munster. We'll have another bite at the apple.
And here's your replay, John. You'll notice that's James Hart in, wearing number 22 for Munster. We'll get back to him in a second, but
you know, just at some point you just have too many people going for those pick and goes. You just run out of support players.
Yeah.
Somebody gets isolated. Leinster takes advantage of it, just picks up that ball and pushes it forward. Well done. Also well done there is a Munster.
that was Jack Daly.
They work the ball back to Clark. Clark has Scannell. They're going to try to run this one as they get the ball to Healy. Healy had to run it to either side but couldn't find him. Good defense there from Leinster as they try to hold the fly half up in the air, but now he's down. Referee says you have to let him go once his knee hits the ground. The ball comes up to Knox. Knox driven backwards by a double tackle from Leinster there. Again, sticking with the forwards, keeping it tight even though they're up one on the backs. Could be a bit of space out there should they need it. And working their way across field. Players just queuing up. You see James Hart on the field calling for the ball. Hart has ball in hand now. Tries to step inside a couple. No real threat outside there. Stafford moves it to a couple of forwards coming back the other way. The ball gets up to the big number 8 there. And he gets the ball to the ground and still on the move, but not making a lot of territory here. Just staying about 5 meters out. Is this Munster team, Leinster defense holding so far? They're going to have to find a little seam, a little gap. Now they've moved closer right on the try line. Trying to pile this one over. Referee in place for it. Try awarded. After all that effort, phase after phase after phase, Munster touches one down. And it looks like it's Knox again gets that one. And great try for him. Second of the day.
Yeah, and as we await the replay, John, Munster with an infusion, so easy for me to say, of energy, and the yellow card certainly helps.
And I was just saying that, you know, that seam is going to appear eventually. You know, they're just working and working and working. Smarter that time, kept it a little tighter. And Leinster gave them just a little split in the dam, and they were able to work their way through.
And now you have the old man on this James Hart at 27 years old, 16 caps for Munster, but more importantly, he spent a lot of time in France. 64 caps, 274 points with Grenoble.
Yep. Also played with the Racing 92.
Yep, with Ronan O'Gara, and he also played with Dan Carter. So this guy has got some serious experience at the ripe old age of 27.
And with 18 minutes to go, we are at 48-35. Munster trailing at Leinster, but everything to play for. Up a man for a few more minutes as Connor Kelly gets us underway.
I believe that was James Tarrant in on the restart there, number 22. I got to check number 20. Check that.
Box kick there from Stafford. Now a big run from Leinster. Can they answer? Attempt for an offload doesn't work. Could have had an advantage there, but Munster is able to pick it up and push it forward. Got Leinster players going back on that. Very well played there from O'Brien. O'Brien steps a couple. And look at the hands on the big man. Is that Abdelazi? It certainly is. And look at him popping left from the contact there. If they could have moved that wide, they had sure numbers out the left-hand side. But stripped and pushed forward at the same time by a Munster player. It's going to slow down and come to a scrum here, but that's your man there, Abdelazi.
With the head fake, the pump fake, and then that's a prop.
Yeah.
20-year-old prop doing that, John.
All right, and we're going to take a moment and go to Aki Raymond talking to one of the fans at this great event.
Thanks, guys. I'm over here with Martin from Munster. How you doing today, sir?
Good, Aki. How you doing?
Doing well, doing well. So I know you told me you're from Munster, but you have an older son playing.
No. I'm from Munster, a small town in Tipperary, but my nephew play senior for Leinster. So I have a bit of a grow for both camps.
Yeah. So who you rooting for though? Tell me.
Oh, Munster.
Munster.
Oh
Munster?
yeah, oh yeah.
All right. It'll be a good game. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Aki. Down with the fans, the man in the know. And we're going to come back to a little injury here for this Leinster side.
All good?
Looks like,
Kelleher.
yes.
But he's up. He's game to keep playing, certainly.
And John, I've heard you call John Quill the bare-knuckled boxer. This guy, Kelleher, looks like he'd fit right in that.
He would fit in that.
Late 1800s, early 1900s bare-knuckle boxer guy ad.
Stay there now, okay?
Referee comes around to tell Jack Daly. Wants him to hold his line there.
And Daly's had an exceptional match tonight.
Certainly has. You know, that's Clark playing at. Great work there. Great work by the Leinster scrum to draw a penalty there against Munster. And they're going to have the opportunity to move the ball downfield as he calls Luke Masters on that, a Shannon player. And it looks like stepping in a fly half is Toronto.
Blackrock College, man. Senior Cup winning
Go forward, you've just taken a step
team.
closer.
You know, that competition that is the Leinster Schools Cup is pretty impressive. And a lot of these players throughout both teams have been in that cup. Some of them with happier times than others.
Ball back to Kelleher's hands. Ronan Kelleher, a Lansdowne player, another St. Michael's graduate. Works the ball forward. Patterson finds a waiting runner there in Gerard Hill. He's been all over the place today. The ball goes up to the big number one again, Abdeladze, and now they're going to move it wide and look for those runners. They move the ball to O'Brien. O'Brien moves it to the wing, gets it out to Aaron O'Sullivan. Played in the Wasps Academy, actually played for Wasps a couple times, and it goes up to Big Angier. And he hurdles his way through some defenders there. Little slip pass up there, and good things happening right now for this Leinster team as Byron takes it in. They move it across wide. There's a runner by himself.
Oh.
It gets knocked back. Is it still alive? Is it in touch? Was it a knock on? We're going to have to take a second to find out. But the play was there. It just didn't make that connection.
Yeah, the long attempt by Toronto on the pass, and did it find feet or hands is what we're going to probably have a discussion about, or maybe that discussion is unnecessary because the decision's been made. I think it's coming back as a knock-on and a scrum awarded to Munster.
Wasn't against you, it was on your loose head. Step back.
Here's that pass. Yeah, I think that's the call.
Yeah, that's a call to knock on there. I don't know if that one went forward.
Right? Yeah.
There's a conversation. Everybody seems to be in agreement, John.
They seem to be in agreement. Everybody seems to be okay. Referee O'Sullivan doing a wonderful job.
Yeah, and you got Duncan Williams coming in from Munster, another veteran.
Crouch.
Actually, he's now the senior.
He's the senior guy.
He's Pops for everybody.
He is 32 years old, has played 163 games for Munster's senior side. Not an easy feat with a guy like Connor Murray playing. And let's see what happens there. A little messy. Referee's going to let it go, but now the whistle goes. And we'll see what that call was. Not straight, it seems. We're going to have an option here.
Yeah, and Duncan Williams has been with Munster for a long time. 2010, he was with Munster when they beat Australia in that historic win. That's no easy feat.
That is no easy feat.
Club team beating a national team.
Matt McCarthy with a history lesson this evening. Well done.
He's another Christian Brothers College, a CBC guy.
Which one?
Crouch.
Cork.
Bind. Set.
Leinster with the put in. They're in a great spot here. Ball comes up there
Knock on by
to
Red.
Byron, who's knocked on by Red.
Back foot here, Red.
It's Patterson trying to work his way forward, but they're going to have to come back around as the ball goes up into a waiting forward's hands. They're always ready to run. They're going to come back to the same side here, and Abdeladze. Patterson again. Just puts a little sideways run in there and gets the ball up to Gerard Hill. A little wider this time. Some players coming around the back. So that went down to Byron.
Advantage 9.
We have offsides here against Munster, so they have a penalty advantage here and plenty of room to run. Little wraparound play there. They get it to the wing. Oh. Can they convert? And they have.
It's just as though they're playing with more players at certain times. They're getting everybody is recycling out wide. Everybody is constantly moving for Leinster right now again.
It's that power play in the middle. They're really just making it happen there, and we haven't got the number on them, but we'll see what happens here. You see, watch the runners here just draw them in, and then a little move around the back. Ball off in the hands, no problem there. And it looked like Aaron O'Sullivan.
Yeah, great loop here by number 20, James Tarrant. Gets another body into that play, and defense has to keep an eye on him.
And Tarrant, certainly a promising player being looked at for higher honors.
You know, John, the one thing that I've noticed the most that's really struck me so far in this competition, and we're all learning different things, it's invaluable, but these guys, these players have played at storied institutions, and each time, at each grade level, they've had competitions that they have valued as very, very high competitions, right? You know, the awards, the trophies, the cups. So they're played against each other, with each other, but always there's something that they're playing for that's important. And you can see, you know, this is no exception.
This is credit to the Irish Rugby Union just building their structures here. Great players coming through, great systems in place.
They're used to playing under pressure.
Yep, certainly are. There's a good high level in all their competitions as Munster send that one long. Messy, some advantages coming back and forth. We're going back for a scrum for Leinster inside their own 22.
So a little bit of offense tonight, right? Some points on the board. We did say that there was going to be some points. You know, just flip that number and you've got 53-53, right?
Right. We've got 88 points on the board so far.
Backwards off blue first, yeah?
There's a great shot there. Shows the wear and tear on some of the fellas.
Referee O'Sullivan, nothing but a big smile, enjoying this one. He'd know a lot of these players from in Ireland.
Crouch!
But we got to be looking forward to this weekend. We got another one coming here on Sunday, the Free Jacks.
Playing at Harvard's Mignoni Field, rugby stadium there at the great university. 5 o'clock Sunday evening. We want to miss the final match of the CARA Cup as Munster throws the punch this time. That has been those scrums, just turning that one over, drawing the penalty from Leinster. And they're going to go right for the corner there. They want some points out of this as we're under 10 minutes to go in this second half of CARA Cup action here in Weymouth, Mass.
And you heard the enthusiasm for their players. There's 10 minutes left in the match. They're down 53-35, yet that got them all pumped. That's what you love to see with young players.
11's gone. Okay.
Here's Billy Scannell. Going to throw it in, John. We discussed his pedigree.
Certainly have. Munster will want these points. Ball up to the front. Quickly gathered. Good drive there by Leinster, but shearing off to that left-hand side with the ball in Scannell's hands they go. And Munster, the old man Williams, looking for it. I know who I am, calling a 32-year-old an old man, but ball comes out, he runs it, takes a little space there, puts the ball up to James Hart. Hart takes it into contact.
Yellow, yellow,
Oh.
yellow!
And just a spill forward there. There it is again, right on the line. Munster makes a mistake, and Leinster always there to capitalize. Great reaction from this team as Roman Salanoa, you get a look at him. We'll talk about him in just a second, has entered the game for this Leinster team.
Yeah, he's just your typical story. We talked about him earlier. The Hawaiian who's playing now for Old Belvedere RFC, second year in Ireland, and you know that Hawaiian-Ireland connection.
All-state football player in Hawaii, Kahuku High School, played rugby, US U20, picked up by Old Belvedere and the Leinster system there. See him wearing number 17. 6 foot 264, and that's coming down.
Yeah.
From an American
Yeah.
football size.
Yeah.
So certainly going to be learning a lot over there is Roman Salanoa. But back here, I'm sure he would have preferred to go to Hawaii where it's nice and warm rather than a chilly spring night here in beautiful Weymouth, Mass.
Well, come on, it's not exactly balmy in Ireland this time of year.
You know, he was hoping for a trip somewhere a little bit warmer. The ball comes to the back there, and that is Ross O'Neill. And a little chip across the front for French to run onto, but just a little too far, and O'Brien beats him back there.
Knock on.
Yeah, you know,
Sorry, that was Kelly that beat him back there, back in the field after his 10 minutes in the bin.
I just wanted to get back to the Scannell brothers. One thing about them, and imagine this, all three of them have played for Ireland in the U20s. All three brothers, Ireland U20s. All those players out there, they're trying for that. These guys, this is how good these players are.
It's a family, yeah. Certainly a family thing there with the Scannells.
You know, were they throwing lineouts with bread at the kitchen table?
Another scrum here as we're moving on in game time. 53-35 remains our score. Leinster A. As they move it across, and they're going to continue to try to run it, but ball goes to the ground there. A bit unlucky. Kelly couldn't handle it. We'll come back for a scrum here for Munster inside the Leinster 22. Maybe ill-advised. We're taking a look at a late scrum here.
So I think our man Paddy Patterson is out for the evening.
Paddy Patterson done for the evening.
And I think we've got Brian O'Donnell, Lansdowne, and Gonzaga College. But the one over there,
Yes.
not the one over here.
Referee O'Sullivan going to bring this one up. A lot of fight left in these teams as we're under 5 minutes to go in the second half. Time winding down on Munster. They want to get some time on the board.
Crouch.
Come on, Keenan. Come on, Dave.
Point. Set.
Along, Keenan.
And there's a
Go. 10.
penalty awarded to Munster. Healy's going to go for the corner. See if they can't manufacture some more points.
They want those late points here. They certainly do.
Yeah, you take the line. Blue line is yours.
Scannell with the line out.
Nicely done by Munster, and they're moving again as
Advantage,
Clark slides
one
it back.
side
It's the ball to Scannell again. At the back, we have an advantage for a penalty against Leinster late in this game.
Hold.
Munster probably out of range for a comeback here with just a couple minutes left, but certainly want to end this off in style as the ball gets hoisted in the air. They were looking to go across and play that aerial game if they could, but taken down by Jack Kelly.
I think they were playing the advantage. I think that was house money, John. Yeah. There you go.
Do you want just the line out again?
Bringing it
You can
back.
take the line out again.
Certainly are, and we're going to have
line out. Okay, line out taken.
a line out is going to be for Munster. They definitely want these 5 points.
You heard
Blue.
Robert O'Sullivan, the referee,
just
ask
take-
if they wanted the line
they
out
don't
again.
need
You
to
have a
because
Yeah,
it's
they
choice.
can just take that.
That's the law on the line.
Munster works their way in, looking to finish with a flourish here.
John, I think we got to start talking about who our man of the match is.
A lot of good players in this game. I think we
Don't
are
change your point 5.
going to have to talk about that. Let's see how this one pans out as Munster drives toward the line and try awarded. Another 5 points on the board for Munster as they move it up to 40. With just under 2 minutes to go, they're going to take the quick one. But let's talk about a few great players before we get to our man of the match. I mean, who stood out to you for Munster, Matt?
I like Jack Ainger, the tight head. I'm always partial.
That's for Leinster.
Yeah, I'm sorry, for Leinster, yeah. So I'm talking about Leinster. Who are you talking about?
As for Munster, well, you can talk about Leinster.
All
We'll
right,
talk about both teams.
You're talking about, if you're talking about Munster, I'm going to go with the number 8, Jack Daly.
Jack Daly had a great game there. Certainly did. I thought Stafford moved him around well there. You know, Connor Phillips, when he could get his hands on the ball, did well. Certainly great. But, you know, Leinster looks like they're going to come out on top here. And let's talk about some of these Leinster players.
Here's your replay. Well, for Leinster, you have a smorgasbord to pick from, right? But I like Jack Kelly's performance. It was facilitated by some of the work of some of the other guys, like the front row, and specifically I like Jack Ainger.
Yep.
But, you know,
Connor Kelly just moved it well wide. I thought Jimmy O'Brien at the outside center just had that outside vision that was great. But you said the name already. We're going to award tonight's man of the match to Leinster's number 15, Jack Kelly. Just had some great moves there, good footwork, been a tremendous player in this game. And Kelly is our man of the match of the evening, as they're not done yet with a minute to go. Munster's going to want to make another run at it. Leinster, I'm sure, would be happy to be in the dressing room, but they got to stop them first. As a little pop kick goes to the outside and gets into the hands of one of their wingers, and they're going to move that there. They have the ball still alive. What can they make happen here? It's the outside center, Tynan. They move it back across. They're throwing the kitchen sink at him right now. Here comes Munster.
Did you see that great pass from Duncan Williams?
I did, and they've got a penalty here. Williams going to take time with his advantage. The ball goes to the French. Duncan Williams looking for some runners. He knows he's got some free play. They have another advantage here. And Leinster committing some infractions here late as Healy puts it into the waiting. Oh, I get ahead of myself.
All right.
He was looking for Luke Kingston there. They're going to come back for a penalty. We have just a winding up on the game clock here. We have a bit of referee's time. You cannot end on a penalty. So they would kick this to the corner if they like and take a line out. So game and certainly not done here as we go to regulation time on our clock.
That was, you know, again, the veteran Duncan Williams with the clock ticking throws that, what, 15-meter pass inward over players, perfect pass.
Great kick from Munster to push it down just about 10 meters out. This is most likely their last bite at the apple.
53-42.
You and number 4.
This is like the Quebec Nordiques versus the Edmonton Oilers, old-time hockey.
This is a great scoreline here. Been a lot of running rugby. You get a look at the Leinster defense set there. And David Jennings from the Dolphin Club puts in the messages. Scannell finds his man, and they're going to go quick this time. They move the ball to French. French barrels over one.
French has had a great match
He
tonight.
certainly has. As they work to move it wide there. Going to have to make sure and not get caught. Working their way across the field. Tarrant moved that one. Ball is in McCarthy's hands. McCarthy double try scorer tonight. Williams.
Okay, no advantage. You're all off.
Another penalty there for Leinster.
They're all
They're going
offsides.
to have to be careful there. Williams wanted to go quick.
Let's get the mark.
Referee O'Sullivan had some other ideas.
Number blue.
Yeah, I think
All offside.
they're starting to feel a little crafty, Leinster. They were creeping forward. They were offside. They were thinking that that referee O'Sullivan would not notice. He noticed.
Munster going for another line out here. Certainly the last play of the game. They want to get some more points on the board here and close this down. What an exciting game of rugby we have had here at Union Point.
Another exciting CARA Cup match. You know, the Free Jacks, the New England Free Jacks, the MLR, Major League Rugby team. Got to tip your cap.
And they're down to a maul this time, quickly formed by this Munster side.
Don't have that once.
Been stopped once according to referee O'Sullivan. Williams gonna need to take it, gets the ball, looks at Healy, moves it around to Hart. Now they move it to one of the forwards, barreling his way towards the sticks.
Here it is. Leave it come.
Referee says you have to let that one play out. And now they go wide. The big man would deserve a try there.
Kean
He
Reel.
has done a lot of work,
Leave it
Kean
now.
Reel. They get the ball to Scannell. He's taking the ground. They're going to keep working around through Clark battles his way towards the line. He
Tackle release,
certainly is not
no.
done. Ball just outside the line there. They're going to have another shot here as they go around the back. And the over.
Leave a come.
He is not over the line there. So close. Williams dives in himself, and the senior player in this squad, Duncan Williams, gets the final say here at Union Point as Duncan Williams scores a 5-pointer, just dummies one out, dives underneath. Great work there, and 5 points, well deserved.
And you saw our crack next level camera crew. Here's the try, but watch Duncan Williams, the crafty veteran, look with a big smile right into the camera after he scores this try. He'll get up, the enthusiasm. Hold on. Well, we just missed it. But
great work there.
Yeah, great camera work by the next level guys.
He just showed his hand there. Looked like he was going to go wide. Was able to sneak underneath. Great try there. We're going to have a conversion to come here.
Here it
that
is.
Should be the end of our game.
Here's another sneak. There he is, the sneaky veteran getting by the Hawaiian.
Yeah, certainly. Got by Salanoa. And Healy to have the last say here.
And look at Pats.
They've had a good trip here. It's been
handshakes.
a good effort for the boys. Good for these teams to come here and get some time on the road. Healy.
Wow.
Last move of the game finds it, and that is that. We are 53-49 in an absorbing contest here at the Union Point Sports Complex. Leinster comes out on top, but certainly a lot of fight in this Munster team. Let's talk about this game. And what was the big comeback there from Munster in the second half? You can't really.
It was the defense. It was the defense, and it was the defense in that 53-49 match. Wow. Where do you start? You've got speed, you've got ball handling skills on both sides. They're young players, so they're going to make mistakes, but there's a sprinkling of those seasoned veterans, and you saw that influence turn Munster's last 20 minutes around.
And, I mean, I'd like to, in my mind, I was kind of thinking, hey, this Leinster team is really not having a great second half compared to their first. But I think Munster had a lot to do with that. They really, took it to them defensively, as you said. I think that was a message at halftime. They played a little smarter. They kept it a little tighter. They put a lot more pressure on them. And Leinster had trouble getting that wide ball like they wanted to. And they had a couple of balls bounce their way, a couple of good tries there. But good work by them. And we're going to go down to Aki Raymond, who is speaking to man of the match, Jack Kelly, on the sidelines.
Thank you, guys. I am with the captain and the man of the match, Jack Kelly. What do you think of the game today?
It's a tough game, We said we'd get off the plane, hit the ground running. In our first half we did well, but it was a tough Munster side. They really brought to us in the second half, and we were at the scramble there in the end just to get the win, Yeah.
A few yellow cards came about, but you guys still held your defense. What do you think kept you guys alive?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the yellow cards are something that we want to cut out, even when we did have the yellows, we're actually quite disappointed that we did let in those tries, but you have to adapt sometimes. You get the yellow, you have to adapt, so we're just glad that we came out to win in the end.
So a lot of you guys are here in America for the first time. How you guys enjoying it in the States?
Yeah, really enjoying our time now. I mean, we've been sort of just concentrating on this game for the last few days, but now hopefully we've got a day off tomorrow, we'll be able to go out tonight, see the city a bit, so we're looking forward to it, yeah.
All right. Good game. Thank you for talking to me, Jack Kelly.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
All right, let's talk about this CARA Cup. Leinster comes out on top. They have one more game to play. Munster back on the plane, headed home probably tomorrow. But a great showing of some skill there from some young players today, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, we talked about the Irish Sevens' influence in some of the backline players, but on both sides of the ball, the 12s and the 13s specifically were solid.
Very solid.
And
good players.
And you had the engine room, the tight five for both squads. And I can go on and on, obviously, but it was...
What I saw, a lot of these were younger players, particularly the forwards, particularly in the front row. And what you're seeing as rugby keeps going is that forwards are handling the ball more, and they're handling the ball better and being a more important link in the team rather than just kind of bulldozers, right? They're a little more effective just doing those little things that are making the game go faster and making it move. You see every generation picks up on the best players from the last and it goes on, and these forwards are just really working well.
Yeah, and again, you have that sevens influence, and Ireland, who frowned upon sevens for a long time, qualified for next year's series, the HSBC Series.
The World Seven Series,
yeah,
played 10 stops.
These players They're playing sevens and they're developing their skills. Even the props, when they're kids, they're playing. You know, a couple of these props were centers just in their age grades. So, you know, you've got the skills across the board.
So let's talk about, you know, the Free Jacks for a minute here, the host of this tournament. They're going to go play in Major League Rugby. We talked about that a little bit in the first half. How do you think a tournament like this, how does this benefit this team headed towards next year's full-fledged professional league?
Well, the coaches know from their experience, and they've heard it from the other coaches via us, that the Free Jacks have a physicality, no doubt about it, but they can't sustain it for 80 minutes. And the players are starting to understand when they're playing against these other opponents that are professional and professionally prepared, that they need to prepare individually as players themselves.
Yeah. So let's look forward. There's another CARA Cup match. The final one is the New England Free Jacks, a local team, versus Leinster on Sunday, 5 o'clock p.m. in Yoney Field, Harvard University. What do you see in that game? And this Leinster team is pretty fast out wide.
Yeah, I think the Free Jacks are going to have their hands full, certainly, to contain them, but that's why we play the matches.
That is certainly why we play the match, and it's going to be a really good one. Final thought?
I'm just very excited about the CARA Cup, and I hope they do it again next year somehow. All
right, that is all we have for this CARA Cup showdown, where Leinster A has beaten Munster A 53-49. We hope that you'll join us this Sunday for the final match of this inaugural CARA Cup, when Leinster A will take on the Free Jacks, New England's first professional rugby team, at Mignoni Field, Harvard University, Sunday, 5 p.m., also here on Nesson. For Matt McCarthy, Aker Raymond, and the whole Next Level Rugby crew, I'm John Broker, and we've enjoyed spending this time with you.